From the fall of ancient empires to the global struggles of the 20th century, we'll explore the wars that forged a new reality. So, stick around as we uncover the epic conflicts that created a new world order. Let's start our journey way back, with the Peloponnesian War. Sparta was a land-based military machine, a society built entirely on discipline and warfare. They were complete opposites, and their rivalry was legendary. The war between them lasted for nearly 3 decades, and it was brutal. It wasn't just a fight between two cities, it was a civil war that engulfed the entire Greek world. Alliances shifted, cities were besieged, and atrocities were committed on both sides. In the end, Sparta emerged victorious, but the cost was immense. The golden age of Athens was over. The war left all of Greece exhausted, broke, and vulnerable. The old balance of power was shattered. This power vacuum allowed a new force to rise from the north, Macedon, led by Philip II and later his son, Alexander the Great. It was the first great example of how a regional conflict could completely upend the established order. Jumping forward several centuries, we land in the midst of the 30 Years' War. This conflict, which raged from 1618 to 1648, is one of the most devastating in European history. It started as a religious war within the Holy Roman Empire, a battle between Protestant and Catholic states. But it quickly spiraled into a continent-wide political struggle for dominance. Countries like France, Sweden, and Spain all got involved, not just for religious reasons, but to gain territory and influence. The fighting was horrific. Mercenary armies plundered the land, leading to widespread famine, disease, and a staggering loss of life. The modern system of independent nation-states, the very foundation of our world today, was born from the ashes of the 30 Years' War. It created a new political map of Europe and a new set of rules for how countries would interact with each other for centuries to come. Now let us move to a conflict that not only changed Europe but also gave birth to a new nation, the Napoleonic Wars. At the turn of the 19th century, Europe was still reeling from the French Revolution. Out of this chaos rose Napoleon Bonaparte, a military genius who crowned himself Emperor of France. For over a decade, he waged a series of brilliant campaigns, conquering vast swathes of Europe. He dismantled the old Holy Roman Empire, redrew the map of Germany and Italy, and installed his relatives as rulers of various kingdoms. He also spread the revolutionary ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity, along with a standardized legal system known as the Napoleonic Code. But his ambition was limitless. His disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812 marked the beginning of the end. A coalition of European powers, including Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, finally defeated him at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. The aftermath was handled at the Congress of Vienna. The leaders of Europe gathered to create a new balance of power, one designed to prevent any single nation from dominating the continent again. They restored old monarchies and created new buffer states. This concert of Europe managed to prevent another large-scale European war for nearly a century. The Napoleonic Wars not only reshaped borders but also ignited the powerful force of nationalism across Europe, a force that would erupt spectacularly in the century to follow. And that eruption came in 1914 with the start of World War I, the Great War. This was a war unlike any other. It was a global conflict fueled by a complex web of alliances, imperial rivalries, and fervent nationalism. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was just the spark that lit the powder keg. The war introduced new and terrifying technologies: machine guns, poison gas, tanks, and airplanes. It was defined by the brutal, static hell of trench warfare on the Western Front. Millions of soldiers perished in horrific conditions for gains of just a few yards. By the time the war ended in 1918, the world was unrecognizable. For massive empires, the German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian had all collapsed. The map of Europe and the Middle East was completely redrawn. New countries like Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia were born. The war's end, with the Treaty of Versailles, imposed harsh terms on Germany, creating deep resentment that would fester for years. It also led to the creation of the League of Nations, an ambitious first attempt at a global organization for maintaining peace. World War I shattered the 19th century optimism and ushered in an age of anxiety and instability. It didn't create a lasting peace. Instead, it set the stage for an even more devastating conflict just 2 decades later. The New World Order created by World War I was fragile and short-lived. The unresolved tensions, the economic devastation of the Great Depression, and the rise of aggressive, expansionist ideologies in Germany, Italy, and Japan led directly to World War II. This was truly a global war, fought on every continent and ocean. The scale of the conflict and the level of brutality were unprecedented. It saw the systematic horror of the Holocaust, the firebombing of cities, and culminated in the use of a terrifying new weapon, the atomic bomb. By 1945, the war was over, leaving more than 60 million people dead and entire continents in ruins. The most iconic moment was the fall of the Berlin Wall, a concrete symbol of the Iron Curtain that had divided the continent. This unipolar moment saw the expansion of democracy and free market capitalism into Eastern Europe and beyond. It led to new challenges, like regional conflicts that were once suppressed by the superpowers, and the rise of non-state actors. They were historical pivot points, moments of intense destruction that gave birth to new realities. They show us that the world order is not permanent, it's constantly being shaped and reshaped by conflict, ideology, and the unending struggle for power. Understanding these transformative wars is key to understanding the world we inhabit. What do you think will be the next major event to reshape our world? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. See you next time.